Good evening, and welcome to Footnotes and Folly. I am Professor Reginald St. John Pemberton, and tonight we take up the third play of Shakespeare's Great Wars of the Roses cycle, the third part of King Henry VI, the bloodiest of them all. We give you the whole of it, complete and unabridged, in clear modern English. The plain rendering and the asides are my own. This is part 1. The first battle of St. Albans is fought and won, and the victorious Duke of York storms into the Parliament House and sits himself down in the empty throne. When the gentle, beating King Henry comes, a fearful bargain is struck. Henry may keep his crown for life, but he must disinherit his own son and make York and York's heirs the next kings of England. It is a peace no one will keep. The king's fierce queen, Margaret of Anjou, hears of it and casts her cowardly husband off, raising an army to fight for her disinherited boy. York's hot-blooded sons goad their father to break the oath he has sworn, and out at Wakefield the wheel comes round. In blood the child Rutland cut down by vengeful Clifford, and York himself taken, crowned in mockery with a paper crown upon a little Molehill, and stabbed to death by the Queen and Clifford together. Let us begin.
An alarm sounds. Duke of York enters with Edward, Richard, Norfolk, Montague, Warwick, and soldiers, all wearing the white rose. I wonder how the king escaped from us. While we were chasing the horsemen from the north, he slipped away in secret and abandoned his men. At that, the great lord of Northumberland, whose warlike ears could never endure retreat, rallied the failing army. He, Lord Clifford, and Lord Stafford, riding side by side, charged the front of our main force, broke into it, and were killed by the swords of common soldiers. Lord Stafford's father, Duke of Buckingham, is either dead or dangerously wounded. I split his helmet with a straight downward blow. Father, see his blood on my sword. That proves it true. Edward shows his bloody sword. And brother, here is the Earl of Wiltshire's blood. Montague shows his sword to York. I met him when the battles joined. Let's speak for me and tell them what I did. Richard throws down the Duke of Somerset's head. Richard has earned the most praise of all my sons. But are you dead, your grace, my lord of Somerset? May the whole line of John of Gaunt have the same hope. In the same way I hope to shake King Henry's head. And so do I. Glorious Prince of York, before I see you seated on that throne, which the house of Lancaster now wrongfully holds, I swear by heaven that these eyes shall never close. This is the palace of the fearful king, and this is the royal seat. Take possession of it, York, for it belongs to you, not to King Henry's heirs. Help me then, dear Warwick, and I will do it. We have forced our way in here. We will all help you. Whoever runs away shall die. Thank you, gentle Norfolk. Stay by me, my lords. Soldiers, stay and lodge with me tonight. And when the king comes, do him no violence unless he tries by force to drive you out. They withdraw. The queen holds her parliament here today, but she little thinks we will be part of her council. By words or blows, let us win our right here. Since we are armed, let us stay inside this house. This shall be called the Bloody Parliament unless Plantagenet, Duke of York, becomes king and timid Henry is deposed, whose cowardice has made us jokes to our enemies. Then do not leave me, my lords. Be firm. I mean to take possession of my right. Neither the king, nor the man who loves him most, nor the proudest supporter of Lancaster, dares move a feather if Warwick shakes his bells. I will plant Plantagenet here. Let anyone who dares try to uproot him. Be resolved, Richard. Claim the English crown. Warwick leads York to the throne, and York sits. A flourish sounds. King Henry enters with Clifford, Northumberland, Westmoreland, Exeter, and the rest, all wearing the red rose. My lords, look where the stubborn rebel sits, right in the chair of state. It seems he means, backed by the power of Warwick, that false lord, to reach for the crown and reign as king. Earl of Northumberland, he killed your father, and yours too, Lord Clifford, and you both have sworn revenge on him, his sons, his favourites, and his friends. If I have not sworn it, may heaven take revenge on me. The hope of that revenge makes Clifford mourn in armour. What, shall we tolerate this? Let us drag him down. My heart burns with anger. I cannot bear it. Be patient, gentle Earl of Westmoreland. Patience is for cowards like him. He would not dare sit there if your father were alive. My gracious lord, here in the Parliament let us attack the family of York. You have spoken well, cousin. Let it be so. Ah, do you not know this city favours them, and they have troops of soldiers ready at their command? But when the Duke is killed, they will quickly run. May such a thought be far from Henry's heart, to turn the Parliament House into a slaughter-house. Cousin of Exeter frowns, words and threats shall be the only war Henry means to use. They advance toward the Duke. You rebellious Duke of York, get down from my throne and kneel at my feet for grace and mercy. I am your sovereign. I am yours. For shame, come down. He made you Duke of York. That was my inheritance, just as the earldom was. Your father was a traitor to the crown. Exeter, you are a traitor to the crown by following this usurping Henry. Whom should he follow except his natural king? True, Clifford, and that is Richard, Duke of York. Shall I stand while you sit on my throne? It must be so, and it shall be so. Accept it. Be Duke of Lancaster. Let him be king. He is both King and Duke of Lancaster, and the Lord of Westmoreland will defend that. And Warwick will prove it false. You forget that we are the men who chased you from the field, killed your fathers, and marched with banners flying through the city to the palace gates. Yes, Warwick, I remember it with grief, and by his soul you and your house shall pay for it. Plantagenet, from you these sons of yours, your kinsmen, and your friends, I will take more lives than there were drops of blood in my father's veins. Press this no further, or instead of words, Warwick, I will send you a messenger that will revenge his death before I move from here. Poor Clifford, how I despise his worthless threats. Shall we show our title to the crown? If not, our sword shall argue it in the field. What title have you to the crown, traitor? Your father was Duke of York, as you are. Your grandfather was Roger Mortimer, Earl of March. I am the son of Henry V, who made the Dauphin and the French submit, and seized their towns and provinces. Do not talk of France, since you have lost it all. The Lord Protector lost it, not I. When I was crowned, I was only 9 months old. You are old enough now, and yet I think you are still losing. Father, tear the crown from the usurper's head. Dear father, do it. Set it on your own head. Good brother, as you love and honor arms, let us fight this out instead of standing here arguing. Sound drums and trumpets, and the king will run. Sons, peace. You be silent, and let King Henry speak. Plantagenet shall speak first. Hear him, lords, and be silent and attentive too, for whoever interrupts him shall not live. Do you think I will leave my kingly throne, where my grandfather and my father sat? No. First war shall empty this realm of people. Yes, and their banners, often carried in France and now in England to our heart's great sorrow, shall be my burial shroud. Why do you weaken, my lords? My title is good and far better than his. Prove it, Henry, and you shall be king. Henry IV won the crown by conquest. He won it by rebellion against his king. I do not know what to say. My title is weak. Tell me, may a king adopt an heir? What then? If he may, then I am the lawful king, for Richard, in the presence of many lords, resigned the crown to Henry IV, whose heir my father was, and I am my father's heir. He rose against Richard, who was his sovereign, and forced him to resign his crown. Suppose, my lords, that Richard did it freely. Do you think that could damage the rightful claim of the next heir? No, for he could not resign his crown in such a way that the next heir would not succeed in reign. Are you against us, Duke of Exeter? His is the right, and therefore pardon me. Why do you whisper, my lords, and not answer? My conscience tells me he is the lawful king. All of them will turn from me and go to him. Plantagenet, whatever claim you make, do not think Henry will be deposed so easily. Deposed he shall be, despite all of you. You are mistaken. Your southern power from Essex, Norfolk, Suffolk, and Kent, which makes you so presumptuous and proud, cannot set the Duke up against my will. King Henry, whether your title is right or wrong, Lord Clifford vows to fight in your defence. May the ground open and swallow me alive wherever I kneel to the man who killed my father. Oh, Clifford, how your words bring my heart back to life. Henry of Lancaster, give up your crown. What are you muttering, or what are you plotting, my lords? Do justice to this princely Duke of York, or I will fill this house with armed men. Over the royal chair where he now sits, I will write his rightful title in the blood of the usurpers. Warwick stamps his foot, and the soldiers reveal themselves. My lord of Warwick, listen to just one word from me. Let me reign as king for the rest of my lifetime. Confirm that the crown will pass to me and to my heirs, and you shall reign in peace as long as you live. I agree. Richard Plantagenet, enjoy the kingdom after my death. What a wrong this is to the prince your son. What good this will do for England and for him. Lo, fearful, despairing Henry. How deeply you have injured both yourself and us. I cannot stay to hear these terms. Nor can I. Come, cousin, let us tell the queen this news. Farewell, faint-hearted, degenerate king, in whose cold blood no spark of honor remains. May you become prey to the house of York, and die in chains for this unmanly act. In terrible war, may you be conquered, or, if you live in peace, may you be abandoned and despised. Westmoreland, Northumberland, and Clifford leave. Turn this way, Henry, and pay no attention to them. They are looking for revenge, and so they will not give way. Ah, Exeter! Why do you sigh, my lord? Not for myself, Lord Warwick, but for my son, whom I am unnaturally going to disinherit. But let it be as it must. To York, I here settle the crown on you and on your heirs forever, on this condition. Here you must swear an oath to end this civil war, and while I live, to honor me as your king and sovereign, and neither by treason nor by open hostility try to overthrow me and reign yourself. I willingly take this oath, and I will keep it. York comes down from the throne. Long live King Henry! Plantagenet, embrace him. And long live you, and these bold sons of yours. Now York and Lancaster are reconciled. Cursed be anyone who tries to make them enemies again. A senate sounds. They come down. Farewell, my gracious lord. I will go to my castle, and I will hold London with my soldiers, and I will go to Norfolk with my followers, and I will go back to the sea from which I came. York and his sons, Warwick, Norfolk, Montague, and their soldiers leave, and I will go to the court with grief and sorrow. Queen Margaret and the Prince of Wales enter. Here comes the queen, and her face shows her anger. I will slip away. Exeter, so will I. King Henry starts to go. No, do not leave me. I will follow you. Be patient, gentle queen, and I will stay. Who can be patient in such extreme circumstances? Ah, miserable man, I wish I had died unmarried, and had never seen you, never borne you a son, since you have proved such an unnatural father. Has he deserved to lose his birthright like this? If you had loved him even half as much as I do, or felt the pain I once felt for him, or nourished him as I did with my blood, you would have left your own dearest heart's blood there before making that savage duke your heir and disinheriting your only son. Father, you cannot disinherit me. If you are king, why should I not succeed you? Forgive me, Margaret. Forgive me, sweet son. The Earl of Warwick and the Duke forced me. Forced you? Are you king, and will you let yourself be forced? I am ashamed to hear you speak. Ah, timid wretch, you have undone yourself, your son, and me, and given the house of York such power that you will reign only as long as they allow it. To settle the crown on him and his heirs, what is it but to build your own tomb and crawl into it long before your time? Warwick is Chancellor and Lord of Calais, stern Falconbridge commands the narrow seas. The Duke has been made protector of the realm, and still you think you will be safe? The trembling lamb surrounded by wolves finds safety like that. If I had been there, though I am only a weak woman, the soldiers would have thrown me on their pikes before I would have agreed to that act. But you value your life more than your honor. And since you do, I here separate myself, Henry, from both your table and your bed until that Act of Parliament is repealed, the one by which my son is disinherited. The northern lords who have abandoned your banner will follow mine once they see it raised. And raised it shall be to your foul disgrace and to the utter ruin of the house of York. This is how I leave you. Come, son, let us go. Our army is ready. Come, we will go after them. Stay, gentle Margaret, and hear me speak. You have spoken too much already. Go away. Gentle son Edward, will you stay with me? Yes, to be murdered by his enemies. When I return from the field with victory, I will see your grace. Until then, I will follow her. Come, son, away. We must not linger like this. Queen Margaret and the prince leave. Poor queen. Love for me and for her son has made her burst out in words of rage. May she take revenge on that hateful duke, whose proud spirit, driven by desire, will cost me my crown, and, like a hungry eagle, feed on the flesh of me and of my son. The loss of those 3 lords torments my heart. I will write to them and plead with them kindly. Come, cousin, you shall be the messenger. And I hope I shall reconcile them all. A flourish sounds. They leave. Edward, Richard, and Montague enter. Brother, though I am the youngest, let me speak. No, I can make the better argument. But I have strong, forceful reasons. The Duke of York enters. What is this, sons and brother? Are you arguing? What is your quarrel? How did it begin? No quarrel, only a small dispute. About what? About what concerns your grace and all of us, the crown of England, father, which belongs to you. Mine, boy? Not until King Henry is dead. Your right does not depend on whether he lives or dies. You are the heir now, so take possession now. If you give the house of Lancaster room to breathe, it will outrun you in the end, father. I swore an oath that he should reign in peace. For a kingdom any oath may be broken. I would break 1,000 oaths to reign for 1 year. No, God forbid your grace should be guilty of false swearing. I would be if I claimed the crown by open war. I will prove the opposite if you will hear me speak. You cannot, son. It is impossible. An oath has no force if it was not taken before a true and lawful magistrate who has authority over the person swearing it. Henry had no such authority, he had usurped the place. So, since it was he who made you lay down your claim, your oath, my lord, is empty and worthless. Therefore to arms. And father, only think how sweet a thing it is to wear a crown, within whose circle lies Elysium and every happiness and joy that poets imagine. Why are we waiting like this? I cannot rest until the white rose I wear is dyed in the still, warm blood of Henry's heart. Richard, enough. I will be king or die. Brother, you must go to London at once and spur Warwick on to this enterprise. You, Richard, must go to the Duke of Norfolk and privately tell him our plan. You, Edward, shall go to my Lord Cobham, with whom the Kentishmen will willingly rise. I trust them, because they are soldiers, clever, courteous, generous, and full of spirit. While you are all employed in this, what remains except for me to look for an opportunity to rise, while keeping the king unaware of my purpose, and every member of the house of Lancaster as well? A messenger enters. But wait. What news? Why do you come in such haste? The queen, with all the northern earls and lords, intends to besiege you here in your castle. She is close by with 20,000 men, therefore strengthen your defences, my lord. Yes, with my sword. What, do you think we fear them? Edward and Richard, you shall stay with me. My brother Montague shall hurry to London. Let noble Warwick, Cobham, and the rest, whom we left as protectors of the king, strengthen themselves with powerful strategy, and trust neither simple Henry nor his oaths. Brother, I go. I will win them over, do not fear. And so most humbly I take my leave. Montague exits. Sir John and Sir Hugh Mortimer enter. Sir John and Sir Hugh Mortimer, my uncles, you have come to Sandal at a fortunate hour. The Queen's army means to besiege us. She will not need to. We will meet her in the field. What, with 5,000 men? Yes, with 500, father, if we must. A woman is their general, what should we fear? A march is heard far away. I hear their drums. Let us put our men in order, march out, and challenge them to battle at once. 5 men against 20. Though the odds are great, uncle, I do not doubt our victory. I have won many battles in France when the enemy outnumbered us 10 to 1. Why should I not have the same success now? Alarms sound, and they exit. Then on the plains near Sandal Castle, alarms are heard. Rutland and his tutor enter. Ah, where shall I run to escape their hands? Ah, tutor, look, bloody Clifford is coming. Clifford enters with soldiers. Chaplain, go. Your priesthood saves your life. But as for the brat of this cursed duke, whose father killed my father, he shall die. Then I, my lord, will keep him company. Soldiers, take him away. Ah, Clifford, do not murder this innocent child, or you will be hated by both God and man. The tutor exits, dragged off by soldiers. What now? Is he dead already? Or is it fear that makes him shut his eyes? I will open them. That is how the caged lion looks over the poor creature trembling under his devouring paws. That is how he prowls, triumphing over his prey, and that is how he comes to tear its limbs apart. Ah, gentle Clifford, kill me with your sword, and not with such a cruel, threatening look. Sweet Clifford, hear me speak before I die. I am too small a target for your anger. Take revenge on men, and let me live. You speak in vain, poor boy. My father's blood has stopped the passage where your words should enter. Then let my father's blood open it again. He is a man, face him, Clifford. If I had your brothers here, their lives and yours together would still not be enough revenge for me. No, if I dug up your forefathers' graves and hung their rotten coffins in chains, it could not satisfy my rage or ease my heart. The sight of anyone from the house of York is like a fury sent to torment my soul, and until I tear out their cursed line by the root and leave not one alive, I live in hell. Therefore, Clifford raises his hand. Oh, let me pray before I die. If you I pray, sweet Clifford, pity me. The only pity you will get is from the point of my rapier. I never harmed you. Why will you kill me? Your father did. But that was before I was born. You have one son. For his sake pity me, or else, because God is just, he may be killed as miserably in revenge as I am. Ah, let me live in prison all my days, and when I give you any cause for offense, then let me die, for now you have no cause. No cause? Your father killed my father. Therefore die. Clifford stabs him. May the gods make this the height of your glory. Rutland dies. Plantagenet. I come, Plantagenet. And this blood of your son, clinging to my blade, shall rust upon my weapon until your blood clotted together with his, makes me wipe them both away. Clifford exits. Alarm sounds. Richard, Duke of York, enters alone. The Queen's army has won the field. Both my uncles were killed while rescuing me, and all my followers have turned from the fierce enemy and fled like ships before the wind, or lambs chased by wolves starved with hunger. My sons, God knows what has happened to them, but this I know, they carried themselves like men born for honor, whether by life or death. 3 times Richard cut a path through to me, and 3 times cried, Courage, father, fight it out! Just as often Edward came to my side, his sword purple with blood up to the hilt from those who had faced him. And when the hardiest warriors began to fall back, Richard cried, Charge, and do not give up a foot of ground. He cried, A crown or else a glorious tomb, a scepter or an earthly grave. With that we charged again. But alas, we fell back again, as I have seen a swan labor uselessly to swim against the tide and spend her strength against waves too strong for her. A short alarm sounds within. Ah, listen, the deadly pursuers are coming on. I am faint and cannot flee their fury, and even if I were strong, I would not run from it. The grains of sand that make up my life are counted. Here I must stay, and here my life must end. Queen Margaret, Clifford, Northumberland, the young Prince Edward, and soldiers enter. Come, bloody Clifford, rough Northumberland. I dare your unquenchable fury to grow even fiercer. I am your target, and I will stand to receive your shot. Yield to our mercy, proud Plantagenet. Yes, to the same kind of mercy his ruthless arm paid my father in full. Now Phaethon has fallen from his chariot and made evening at the stroke of noon. My ashes, like the phoenix, may bring forth a bird that will take revenge on all of you. In that hope I lift my eyes to heaven and scorn whatever you can torment me with. Why do you not come on? What, so many of you and still afraid? That is how cowards fight when they can run no farther. That is how doves peck at the falcon's piercing talons. That is how desperate thieves, with no hope left for their lives, breathe insults against the officers. Oh, Clifford, think once more. In your mind, run over my past life, and if you can look at this face without blushing, then bite the tongue that slanders as a coward the man whose frown has made you faint and flee before now. I will not trade words with you 1 for 1. I will grapple with you in blows, 2 times 2 for 1. Hold, valiant Clifford. For 1,000 reasons I would stretch the traitor's life a little longer. Anger has made him deaf. You speak, Northumberland. Hold, Clifford. Do not honor him so much as to prick your finger, even if it would wound his heart. What courage would it be, when a cur bares its teeth, for a man to thrust his hand between them, when he might kick the dog away with his foot? War's reward is to take every advantage, and 10 against 1 is no stain on courage. They lay hands on York, who struggles. Yes, yes, that is how the woodcock struggles in the snare. That is how the rabbit struggles in the net. York is taken prisoner. That is how thieves triumph over the booty they have conquered. That is how honest men yield when they are so overmatched by robbers. What would your grace have done with him now? Brave warriors, Clifford and Northumberland, come, make him stand here on this molehill. The man who reached at mountains with outstretched arms, yet only parted their shadow with his hand. What, were you the one who meant to be England's king? Was it you who swaggered in our parliament and preached about your high descent? Where is your litter of sons to back you now, the wanton Edward and the lusty George? And where is that valiant crooked-backed prodigy, Dicky your boy, who with his growling voice used to cheer his father on in mutinies? Or where with the rest is your darling Rutland? Look, York, I stained this cloth with the blood that valiant Clifford drew from the boy's breast with his sword point. If your eyes can water for his death, I give you this to dry your cheeks. Alas, poor York, if I did not hate you to the death, I would pity your miserable state. Come, grieve to make me merry, York. Stamp, rave, and fret, so I may sing and dance. What has your fiery heart so scorched your insides that not one tear can fall for Rutland's death? Why are you patient, man? You should be mad, and to make you mad, I mock you this way. Stamp, rave, and fret, so I may sing and dance. I see you must be paid to entertain me. York cannot speak unless he wears a crown. A crown for York. And lords, bow low to him. Hold his hands while I set it on. She puts a paper crown on his head. Yes, by Mary, sir, now he looks like a king. Yes, this is the man who took King Henry's chair, and this is the man who was his adopted heir. But how is it that great Plantagenet is crowned so soon and has broken his solemn oath? As I remember, you were not to be king until our King Henry had shaken hands with death. Will you circle your head with Henry's glory and rob his temples of the diadem while he is still alive against your holy oath? Oh, that is a fault far too unpardonable. Off with the crown, and with the crown his head, and while we live take the time to put him to death. That is my duty for my father's sake. No, wait. Let us hear the prayers he makes. She wolf of France, yet worse than the wolves of France, with a tongue more poisonous than an adder's tooth. How unfitting it is in your sex to triumph like an Amazonian whore over the suffering of those whom fortune has taken captive. If your face were not like a mask, never changing, made shameless by long use of evil deeds, I would try, proud queen, to make you blush. To tell you where you came from and from whom you are descended would be shame enough to shame you, if you were not shameless. Your father bears the title of King of Naples, of both the Sicils and Jerusalem, yet he is not as wealthy as an English yeoman. Has that poor monarch taught you to insult? It is not needed, and it does you no good, proud queen, unless the proverb must be proved true, that beggars mounted on horseback ride their horses to death. It is beauty that often makes women proud, but God knows your share of that is small. It is virtue that makes them most admired, the opposite makes you a wonder. It is self-command that makes them seem divine, the lack of it makes you abominable. You are as opposite to every good thing as the antipodes are to us, or as the south is to the north. O tiger's heart wrapped in a woman's hide! How could you drain the life-blood of the child, then bid the father wipe his eyes with it, and still appear to bear a woman's face? Women are soft, mild, pitiful, and yielding. You are stern, hard, flinty, rough, remorseless. Did you tell me to rage? Why, now you have your wish. Would you have me weep? Why, now you have your will, for raging wind raises endless showers, and when the rage dies down, the rain begins. These tears are my sweet Rutland's funeral rites, and every drop cries vengeance for his death against you, fierce Clifford, and you, false Frenchwoman. Curse me, but his grief moves me so much that I can hardly keep my eyes from tears. That face of his, hungry cannibals would not have touched, they would not have stained it with blood. But you are more inhuman, more pitiless, oh, 10 times more than the tigers of Hircania. See, ruthless queen, a helpless father's tears. This cloth you dipped in the blood of my sweet boy, and I washed the blood away with tears. Keep the cloth, and go boast of this, and if you tell the heavy story truly, on my soul, the listeners will shed tears. Yes, even my enemies will shed fast, falling tears, and say, alas, it was a pitiful deed. There, take the crown, and with the crown my curse, and in your hour of need, may such comfort come to you as I now receive at your too cruel hand. Hard-hearted Clifford, take me from the world, my soul to heaven, my blood upon your heads. Even if he had been the butcher of all my kin, I could not help but weep with him, to see how deeply sorrow grips his soul. What ready to weep, my Lord Northumberland? Only think of the wrong he did us all, and that will quickly dry your melting tears. Here is for my oath, here is for my father's death. Clifford stabs him. And here is to right our gentle-hearted king. Queen Margaret stabs him. Open your gate of mercy, gracious God. My soul flies through these wounds to seek you. York dies. Cut off his head and set it on the gates of York, so York may overlook the town of York. A flourish sounds. They all exit.
And there we pause, with the first great horror of the Civil Wars accomplished. The Duke of York, who reached so patiently and so far for the crown, is dead on a molehill with a paper crown crammed on his brow and his murdered child's blood thrown in his face. Queen Margaret has her revenge, but she has taught the house of York a lesson it will repay 100-fold. For York leaves 3 sons, Edward, George, and the crook-backed Richard, and grief has made them lions. Next time, in part 2, 3 suns blaze in the sky, the greatest battle ever fought on English soil is joined at Toten, and a new king is proclaimed. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.